And basically, in the time that I can tell you that you've got to flip the engine over, undo your buckles, and pull yourself out, that's as long as you've got before you're burned alive.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Wow.
I don't know about you, Jim, but I'm having a massive Airfix moment right now.
Yeah, you just want to make both, don't you?
Oh, I want to make a Spitfire, I want to make a Hurricane, and it's the colours that brown, that brown is in my mind, it's sort of my mind palette.
It says 1940,
it says
Battle of Britain.
1940, before they switched that grey.
The ultimate summer.
That grey colour scheme, whatever. The brown, and also this Hurricane is in the Battle of France livery, so it's got the thing of, it's
half and half.
Port wing is black.
Yeah.
And it's underside, and the white, and the starboard wing is white.
Yeah.
So that when
it's
it goes
invasion stripes before they had invasion stripes.
Yeah, exactly. And a devil to paint that.
Yeah, really true. Oh, you've got to keep a steady hand.
It gets a straight line. So what you do is you paint it
masking tape
on the sprue in two halves.
Oh,
yeah, that's what you figure out to do.
Okay.
But of course, when you're a kid making these, you're on pocket money. You can't just throw it away and do another one. You've got to make good. But I mean, enough childhood nostalgia.
Yeah, here they are together, the fighters, the main two fighters of the RAF Fighter Command in the Battle of Britain, Hawker Hurricane, Spitfire Mike 1.
Yeah.
And the debate has raged, hasn't it, ever since, which was the more effective. And I've got to say, if I had £1 for every time someone said, oh, do you know the Hurricane shot down more enemy fighters and enemy planes in the Battle of Britain than the Spitfire, I'd be a rich man.
You'd be a rich man, but you know what? Would you be as satisfied? Because you like telling people the answer to that, don't you? And that's the true gold in life, isn't it?
Having the ability to tell people the right answer.
Exactly, it's being
to
right.
show that you're right and they're wrong.
Being right is worth far more than a Swiss bank account full of...
I don't know. I'm quite bored of it now. Although, I have to say, when you're standing by them, the opportunity to actually chew the cud on these two iconic aircraft is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, everything, if you're familiar with looking at it, everything about them jumps out at you. But that's, I think, what we need to talk about is actually how they're different, and, and how they came about, and also that thorny question of which one contributes more. But let's go around and look at the Hurricane.
Well, the thing is, you know, just very quickly, Vo, to the uneducated, I think that, you know, you could see that they do look quite similar. They've got the same camo scheme. They're pretty much the same size.
Yeah. It's the same engine. Is the
same engine in
really
it.
Steers that.
There are lots of similarities, but also a huge amount of differences.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go and have a look at the Hurricane.
All right.
I mean, it's a genuine thrill coming here. I came here when I was 5.
Did you?
To get this
that
close.
Early?
To get this close to the Hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that long ago. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I mean...
Just at the dawn of time.
I mean, it's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is. I think this is one of the best views of the Hurricane, because you're seeing it in profile.
Yeah.
And I think the thing to remember about the Hurricane is that Hurricane is a development of an earlier aircraft, whereas the Spitfire is entirely unique.
Yes.
It's completely start from scratch.
Yeah.
The profile of that is basically exactly the same as the Hawker Nimrod and the Hawker Fury, two of which are kind of 1930s biplanes.
Yeah.
They've got cockpits and all the rest of it, and so on. But the fuselage, which is this bit here, and the tailplane on the Fury and the Nimrod are almost exactly the same.
And an enclosed cockpit is the basic difference, isn't it?
And actually, the fuselage at the front looks very, very similar on the Fury and the Nimrod, which are, as I say, early 1930s biplanes made by Hawker. The materials are the same, the fuselage, because this is a sort of metal frame covered in Irish linen with then a kind of something oxyacetylene or whatever.
Dope. So it's called dope.
It's called dope.
Dope.
Not to be confused with.
Highly flammable.
Highly flammable, but it makes the... You can...
Yeah. It's fabric. It's
fabric.
It's tea towels. It's Irish linen.
It's Irish linen tea towels covered in a particular material which gives it that kind of sort of slightly kind of plasticky kind of feel to it. Yeah. But again, that's kind of early 1930s technology. Well, it's earlier than that. It's
First World War technology.
It's First World War technology. And it's just taken on to another level.
And there is a link with Sidney Cam, who's the guy that project manages this.
Yeah, well, he's the chief designer.
It was at Sopwith, worked on the Sopwith Camel.
Yeah.
Ends up on the Harrier.
Yeah, it's amazing in the 1960s. Yeah,
you know, BAE aircraft. But this obviously it's all about keeping it light.
Yep.
And also it's an established technology. So, and one of the differences, of course, with the Spitfire we come to is because that's an aluminium airframe, they've got to invent how they're building this. Whereas what this is basically you take the top wing off the biplane, you've got a nice thick wing, tons of lift. It's all about the Merlin engine, which is coming online.
Which is not in the Nimrod of the Fury.
Yeah, exactly. But the Air Ministry know they've got this engine coming along that Rolls-Royce have ready, basically.
Yep.
And so there's a fighter specification.
F5/34.
That's right.
So it's 1934 is when the specification comes out.
Which calls for single wing, a high-speed interceptor fighter, armed with
initially four
4.303 machine guns.
Yes, and capable of going over 300 miles an hour.
Exactly, and that's the requirement for the defence of Britain in the interwar in the 1930s idea about bomber attack on Britain.
But one of the things that isn't part of that specification is the speed of climb.
No.
And the interesting thing is what you discover is that so in the First World War era, in the biplane era and triplane era, it's all about manoeuvrability.
Yes.
It's how you can manoeuvre yourself around another plane and get on its tail and shoot it down.
Yeah.
That age is over with the monoplane. It's about who can get to the sky the quickest, pack the biggest punch and get the hell out of there as quickest. And that is one of the kind of Achilles heels of the Hurricane, is that it's just too slow to climb.
Yeah, relatively.
Relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast by kind of biplane standards, but it's not by other standards of monoplane, modern fighter aircraft in the late second half of the 1930s. So this first test flies in November 1935.
Yep.
So it's ahead of the game. And one of the reasons, again, it's ahead of the game is because when you're creating a brand new aircraft, what you need is to then develop the machine tools to create the specific parts.
Yeah.
But if half of it's already done, that's a big job that you don't have to worry about because you've already got those machine tools. So that means that the speed with which you can get this whole show on the road is much quicker than other models because you've already done half of it.
But it's like building a thing out of OEM parts, isn't it?
Right.
Pre-existing technology, pre-existing production methods.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying it's cobbled together, the Hurricane, because it is a unique design of its time. And what it sort of is it's the end of that way of building aircraft.
Yes.
That sits on the cusp of the new way of doing things, which is what the Spitfire represents to an extent, because the Spitfire, after all, arguably is a wooden aircraft made out of aluminium. But we'll get to that.
But I think the Hurricane is the end of a production run, which has begun with those early 1930s Hawker biplanes. This is as far as that design can go.
Yeah.
So it's got nowhere to go from this.
Yeah.
Whereas interesting about the Spitfire, and we'll get onto that in a minute, is it's at the very start of its development.
Yeah, and it's sort of much more open-ended. Although this, what's interesting about the Hurricane is it can go to theatres where there aren't snazzier fighters that can shoot it down. So it ends up in the doing great work as a ground attack aircraft in North Africa, where it doesn't need to climb quickly. But
it also gets sent in very large numbers to Malta, where it absolutely does need to climb quickly, and the island very nearly gets defeated as a result of it.
Yeah.
Whereas had they sent a whole load of Spitfires over in 1941 or even in 1940, and even by that stage they were outproducing Spitfires to Hurricanes, that would have made a big difference.
You're going to start cursing Hugh Pugh Lloyd now.
Well, I might do, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I might do.
But one of the things, of course, because of the way it's built, because it's made of fabric, this is one of the things about the Hurricane, is it can be repaired quickly.
Yep.
Which often is interpreted as it's able to take punishment, but it's more actually that the punishment it takes can be fixed more easily because you patch the linen, literally. You fix whatever's damaged inside, you patch the linen. You're not looking at whole pieces of metal like for instance its wing.
And I don't know whether we can go round the front here, but if we do, you can see at the front here, because of the thickness of the wing, and look at it, it's that thick.
Yep.
You can see all the machine guns. By the time it becomes operational, it's gone from 4 machine guns to 8 machine guns.
Yeah.
A .303 is a bit of a pea shooter, but it obviously packs a bit more of a punch if you can get all 8 bullets to kind of align at the same point. So what you do is you align your machine guns so that they harmonise into a cone at one particular point. And at the start of the Battle of Britain, that's set at kind of 450 yards, and it comes closer and closer and closer as they realise that you need to get as close as you possibly can to really pack a punch. But because they're all close together, that's much easier to do than if they're spread out. So that's very much to the advantage. The big problem with that is you've got a massive, great fuel tank here.
Yeah.
So fuel tank here, fuel tank on the other side. The moment these are covered in canvas here, not canvas, linen here, to stop dust as you're taking off, getting into the machine guns and causing stoppages. So obviously the moment you fire, that gets shredded.
Yeah.
The moment it gets shredded, air's coming in and hurtling in, and it whistles in and goes like that straight up here. So if you then get hit in the fuel tank, what then happens is you've got a matter of seconds to get out of your cockpit because the flames are then fanned into the centre of the aircraft. And basically, in the time that I can tell you that you've got to flip the engine over, undo your buckles and pull yourself out, that's as long as you've got before you're burned alive.
Yeah.
And lots of Hurricane pilots don't get out, and it is a burning death trap. So that's one of its Achilles heels. But really its biggest Achilles heel is its rate of climb. And that's why in the Battle of Britain, as a rule of thumb, Hurricane squadrons are told to attack the enemy bombers,
which are coming in slower and lower.
Slower and lower. So they're operating at kind of sort of 12 to 18,000 feet, whereas your single engine fighters and two engine fighters are flying above that, so that they're able to maneuver themselves around the sky to get the sun behind them so that they can blind, any enemy you're attacking can't see you coming out of the sun, and you get the advantage of speed as well, which you get from height. So they're attacking the bombers, which are obviously lower and slower and a bigger target, so they're easier to shoot down.
And also, they're the thing you want to shoot down primarily,
but also there's more Hurricanes in 1940, and that's because they started earlier, and the process of building them is simpler than the Spitfire because they've already got some of the machine tools. But it's not because it's a better aircraft.
Thing is, we're in front of the canvas gun covers here. There's a piece of footage that always ends up in absolutely anything Second World War.
Oh yes, of the
which is a close-up of this, and the guns doing that, and the fabric,
which is taken when it's on the ground doing a test.
Exactly, taken on the ground when it's doing a test. And a very long time ago, I made a Spitfire program, and they had a tiny bit of that in it. And then I went, "That's not a Spitfire. You can't have that in the footage." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
no. It's not.
Because they're different. They're different. Spitfires and Hurricanes are different.
They're very, very different.
They might be green and brown and have a Merlin engine, but they're different.
But they're very, very different. And it's just, and also let's face it, it's just not as good looking, is it?
Oh, Jim, you're judging a book by a cover.
A bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Should we go look at the Spitfire?
Yeah, come on, let's go and look at the Spitfire.
I mean, come on. Thing is, right, the Spitfire. The thing is, it's
a thing of beauty.
Well, I almost don't even know if it is beautiful anymore. Because
you've seen it yourself.
I've seen it so much, and you're told it's beautiful all the time. Is it a conventional idea of beauty, Jim, that I'm being bombarded by
I think
here?
it is. Yeah,
I think it is. It is remarkable, isn't it, that it should be such a beautiful aircraft.
But
that's fluke. Aircraft. That is fluke, though. They weren't trying to design something good-looking, were they? That wasn't Mitchell's concern. Mitchell's concern is meeting the specification, building it within what his design team can do and everything. He's not thinking in terms of beauty.
It's good that you mentioned the design team, because it really isn't RJ Mitchell, because he is very poorly at this point.
Yeah.
Dies in 1937, so only a little while after its first flight. And he's also trying to do the big four-engine 300-mile-an-hour bomber at the time, at the same time.
Yeah,
so he's kind of busy with that, which doesn't come to anything. But it's a whole host of people like Joe Smith, who's the assistant chief designer, and various others that are involved with this. And actually, it's not even RJ Mitchell that designs the wing, so the famous elliptical wing. But as you can see here, it's considerably thinner than the Hurricane, which is why your machine gun ports are spread out more. But this can just this is purpose built.
Yeah,
it is brand spanking new. And the clue with Supermarine, the manufacturers, is in the name. It's Supermarine.
Yes,
they're about flying boats. That's what they do. All of that.
Well, but that is an interesting thing, because the walrus is many things, but it's not going to win a beauty competition, is it? In the way that people insist this. I mean, the thing is, all I'm sort of wondering is, say the Air Ministry picked a radial engine, right? As the power plant it's backing for its range of interceptors. These aircraft would look very, very different. So a lot of it is, the reason they look similar is the Merlin. And that comes down from on high. That's sort of got nothing to do with Hawker or Supermarine. I mean, I think one of the things that's really interesting is when Supermarine have got this right, Vickers buy them just like that because they know, we're going to be making an awful lot, or an awful lot of these are going to be made. We want to be the people doing that. Yeah. Which is, I think, the other side of the story is that this is the British military-industrial complex, for want of a better name for it, in action. This aircraft.
But do you know one of my favourite bits? It's that curve there, coming down from the fuselage onto the wing. It's just, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And another point of comparison, look at the canopy. You've got the bubble canopy. You haven't got the complete bubble canopy, which comes in later marks in the war. Yeah. But you compare that to the Hawker Hurricane, which with its sort of metal straps all over it.
Well, the earliest Spitfires have a straight canopy, don't they?
But not by the time you're in the Battle of Britain. Yeah. And that gives you so much more visibility. And visibility is everything. Yeah. It's absolutely everything. So, not having a good canopy really, really works against you, and is definitely a few marks off your overall spec. Yeah. Yeah. When you're judging these things. I mean, what has it got? Okay, it's pretty stable on the ground, even though it's got quite a narrow undercarriage. It is pretty stable. In the air, it's obviously the thoroughbred that everyone talks about. Yeah. It's fast. It's faster than the Hurricane. It can climb faster than the Hurricane. It doesn't have cannons in 1940, but it is manifestly superior as a fighter plane than the Hurricane. It just is. Because it's twitchy and manoeuvrable and faster
and quicker, and the rate of climb, which is the thing we came back to.
And the other thing is obviously, it's comes with a massive dollop load of nostalgia now, and sort of white cliffs, sort of, and
that's what I'm trying to get at. Do we, could we conceive?
Can we just park that for a minute?
Yeah, can we park all of that?
You can, but the point I was just about to make is that even back in 1938, 1939, this first flies in March 1936. 19 Squadron at Duxford are the first to kind of take charge of this aircraft. Even then, everyone was sort of oohing and ahhing about it and going, oh my God, that was the new Spitfire that was sort of flying overhead. I mean, people did love it right from the go-go.
What if it had been called the Submarine
Wren?
Or Sparrow or something, because there's so much tied up in the name as well, which supposedly Mitchell didn't like. Right? There's so much caught up in the name and the imagery. I mean, it is I think it is very, very hard to slice it off from, But then something...
There was a time before it was called the Spitfire.
Well, yeah, exactly. But some things are literal and symbolic.
K5054.
Well, exactly, yeah. But some things are, literal symbols, aren't they? It's symbolic, and it's literally the thing it's symbolic of. And although, it's complicated. It's a mythic aircraft.
It is a mythic aircraft, but you cannot get away from the fundamentals of its design and the fact that this is the start of the process.
Yeah.
And I'm sure later on in the museum we can find a sort of later model one. But what's interesting about those later model marks, even the F-24, which is the kind of final version of it, it's still fundamentally a Spitfire, even though it's very, very different to this Mark 1.
Yeah. Well, and just as in a way the Hurricane is sort of the end of the process of the 20s into the 30s building fighter aircraft, by the time you get to the end of the Spitfire, that's the end of the 30s into the 40s, piston-engined interceptor. They take it as far as they possibly can. And this airframe is flexible enough to double the horsepower in the power plant, double its payload weapons-wise. And it's Smith really who makes sure that happens, isn't it? Keeps the whole thing open-ended as an airframe to the point where it's twice the plane it starts the war as. And again, essentially in a 6-year leap. It's extraordinary. Because the ideas they've got in 1939 for this airframe are the things that come to fruition, in 42, 43, 44. It's extraordinary.
It's still a thing of wonder. I don't.
I still can't tell if it's good looking or not.
Yeah, it is.
Sticking to my guns on that.
No.
It's like Marilyn Monroe. I don't know if she's...
you've just seen her too often.
You told she's beautiful so much. Is she beautiful? I don't know anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, no. I think it is.